assuming that Dr. Banda's regime just becomes more repressive with any growing movement, would you be willing to support an armed struggle?
No, an armed struggle, we have not supported it. We don't admire it. It is not the solution to Malawi's problems. We will not. This is why we are not part and parcel of the exile Malawian political negotiate with Dr. Banda, even if he continues to exterminate, execute our members. But my own impression is that Dr. Banda has very few weeks or months to withstand this force of democracy, the wave for democracy. I think he has very few months or weeks or months. I doubt very much, because democracy has moved mountains in the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union has disintegrated. After 70 years of a protracted debate, struggle between the East and the West, democracy has triumphed. I don't think there's any one of us, even sitting here, that can withstand the force of democracy. Not possible. And Dr. Banda hasn't got the resources that the Soviet Union had, or East Germany. So we hope one morning he will rise to his wise counsels and phone George Bush or whoever comes to power in the United Kingdom or elsewhere in Western capitals to say, I have surrendered. We need democracy in Malawi. Then, my friend, I'll be the happiest man in Malawi. I can assure you.
May I add something? Yes. I think it is also very important, perhaps, that we should mention that it is important for the Western nations to make it very clear to Dr. Banda that John Tembo should not be imposed on the country. The problems within Malawi are mainly because John Tembo is insisting, or at least manipulating Dr. Banda, to have John Tembo himself installed as the president, with Banda's blessings. Had it been only for Banda, it is rumored that he has wanted to retire for some time now. But it is John Tembo and Mama Kadzamira who insist on him remaining in Malawi and holding on to power. So it's important for the Western nations to make it very clear to Dr. Banda that Tembo would not be acceptable under any circumstances, because he would be an imposed leader.
And finally, anything that happens to me today or tomorrow, it will not be at the instigation of Dr. Banda. It will be at the instigation of John Tembo and the family. And my interim committee, my colleagues, will hold John Tembo and the family responsible for my humiliation, for my detention, for my disappearance from this earth. Let me repeat. When the Malawi Congress Party was formed in 1959, I was a very young boy. Together with my colleagues, we mooted the idea of a Malawi Congress Party to replace the banned African Nascent African Congress. But believe me, now I am 52, 51, 52. In 1959, I was a young boy. But I had an idea, I had a vision for my country. We abdicated our positions to allow Dr. Banda to continue with the leadership. In April, when Dr. Banda, in April 1960, when Dr. Banda was released, To be very precise, on the 6th of April, when it was released on the 4th of April, on the 6th of April, we had the first executive meeting of the Malawi Communist Party. I noticed undemocratic tendencies in Dr. Banda. I disagreed with him. It was not a violent disagreement. I said, no, you are not the right kind of person to lead us into independence. I was asked to leave the executive together with my 3 colleagues. I accepted it. And I hope now I can reflect back to say what I did in 1960, when eventually I was expelled from the party, I was on the right track. And I'm still on the right track. What I'm saying this is to convince the press and the world that if I had noticed the undemocratic, the authoritarian tendencies of Dr. Banda 32 years ago, and now it has been proved that he is not only an authoritarian, but a murderer, then my vision for a free and democratic Malawi still stands. Thank you very much, my sister and my colleagues. We'll see you one day in Malawi, maybe at the end of this month, or at any other time when there's a referendum. And you'll be my guest at Lake Malawi. Please, if you're in the wrong, call on me. My telephone number is 721-402. That is the office. My house number is 732-054. Or else you can contact my colleagues and Michael, who definitely know where I shall be.